Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show we are going to have Chris. Chris is from Wales in the UK. So let's see what Chris has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Hi,
Hello Christopher, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you so much. You still have some sunshine shining in your place where you come from. I can see some...
Well, it's a surprise to me, to be honest. It's been raining all day, and now the sun is shining, so can't complain.
Christopher, tell me, where are you from?
So I'm from Wales, in the UK, so not far from the capital city, Cardiff.
Cardiff. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I was there. I've been in Wales twice, actually. A few years ago, when I had actually my very first visa in the UK, I took in Cardiff. And a friend of mine, his mom just passed away a few months ago, and I went there. It's somewhere close to Cardiff as well. So it was good to go back again to Wales, since I haven't been for quite a while.
Ah.
And Christopher, tell me, what do you do for a living?
So my day job is I work for financial services companies. So I manage a department of customer services people who help people decide what to do when they get to retirement.
Interesting. And also, I know you are a writer as well, and a
Yes.
public speaker. So tell me a little bit about your career as a writer and also as a public speaker.
So I've been writing for many years. I've published my first book this April called Polish the Crown. And that's an LGBTQ plus themed memoir. But I've been writing poetry and short stories for a long, long time. My public speaking piece is quite in its infancy, really. So I've only started doing that as a result of the book coming out. So I've spoken at Pride event. I'm possibly going to New York in June, and then I'm speaking again at Pride Cymru in Cardiff in August. So yeah, that's kind of a new thing for me.
Amazing. So tell me a little bit about your book, Polish the Crown.
So the book is a memoir about what it was like for me growing up in the South Wales valleys as a kid, being part of the LGBTQ community. It was a very masculine environment. I didn't know anyone else that felt the way I did, who saw the world the way that I saw it. And I experienced quite a difficult childhood because of that, because it was obvious in the things I chose to do and the way that I behaved, I guess, that I was slightly different to the other guys. And yeah, I went through a lot of bullying. And the memoir's about kind of coming from that background and how you overcome all of that and how you stop it from impacting you in later life and can go on to have a successful, healthy, happy adult life. But yes, that's mainly what it's about.
I see. So you put all these memories back in your life, all into the book, and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see. And so, how long did it take for you to put all together? And when was the idea when you said, okay, I'm gonna start put all the pieces together in a book?
So I've got my favorite author is someone called Augustine Burroughs, who wrote Running with Scissors, and that was the inspiration. He was an ordinary guy who decided to write about his life. He certainly wasn't famous or in the public eye at the time, and he wasn't a famous writer, but it became very, very successful. And so I've always been a fan of people in normal circumstances telling their story, because to me they're as interesting as a celebrity telling a story. I think in some respects it can be more interesting. And I'd started to write poetry about some of my bigger experiences in life, some of the things that had made a mark and made an impression on me. And then I realized I was writing short stories to accompany the poems. And then I reached out to an illustrator based in London, who's a very, very clever illustrator called Barbara Anna Gomez, and asked her if she'd do the illustrations, which she did. And before I knew it, I was writing a book. And I guess when I was halfway through, at that point, I realized that I wanted to do something that would be the type of book that I wished that I'd had when I was a teenager, that gave some context and some hope.
I can see on your right-hand side, there's the book, Polish the Crown. Can I see it?
Yes, it is.
Show me, I can see just a little bit of it. There we go, Polish the Crown. Wow. And I like the flag on the side, the gay flag on the side. That's amazing. Oh, wow, well done, amazing, I love it. And why Polish the Crown? Why the name, the name Polish the Crown?
The name Polish the Crown is based on a story in the book. When I was a very young child and in school, the school system didn't do enough to stop bullying, especially of kids that were bullied for being gay. And there was one particular episode where a bunch of lads made a paper crown and placed it on my head, and just because that worked with the joke of being labelled a queen or a queer. And that moment stuck in my head. And Polish the Crown, the message of the book is, I found my way out of that situation, and I rose above the bullies because I accepted that actually I was gay, and I became proud of who I was. And eventually I became so proud of it that when someone would shout queer or, you know, something else horrible, my response started to be, and what's the point you're trying to make? Yes, I am. And what are you trying to say? And I think as soon as you remove the power from the bully, because you were kind of proving them right, really, by owning who you are, it stopped. It went away. They realized that they were the ones who were looking stupid. So I make that sound easy. It wasn't that easy, but
of course,
that message of whatever life gives you, whoever you are, own it and be proud of it and polish it up. And so Polish the Crown is kind of saying, do you know what? If you're called a queer, if you're called a queen, if you're gay, if you're whatever you are, if the minute you own it and you find pride in it, life will get easier.
Absolutely. I think at the end of the day, you need to be proud of who you are, what your feelings, what your desires, what you is yourself, be yourself. So be proud of what, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what the society out there, whatever is against you, but you always need to be yourself and always proud of being yourself. I think this is the basic, and they start for you to be a better person and be yourself. I think that's not easy sometimes, because be yourself sometimes it can be a bit difficult to understand that, but I think we should try always be ourselves. And the right people gonna cross your path, and you're gonna live a happier life for sure. Christopher, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Yes.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have here my best friend. Full of random fun questions, okay? I'm just gonna play a song now just to see your Welsh moves before the first question.
I have to move.
Let's do it. Should I call you Christopher or Chris?
Chris is fine.
Chris?
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Chris, so during the game, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, I always can change, okay? Let's start. First question for you is, if you could have been a moment or event in history, which one that would be and why?
I think if I could have been at a moment in history, I probably would have loved to have been at the Stonewall Riots. Just to have been part of the beginning of that movement, and the way that started to change the world. I would have loved to have been there and been part of that.
Amazing. So tell me a little bit about the event.
So the Stonewall Riots, obviously, they started a huge movement in terms of fighting back against government in the United States that was basically ignoring all LGBTQ rights at the time. And there's a number of theories of how it really started. There's talk that one particular drag queen, Marsha P. Johnson, threw a brick through the Stonewall Inn, and that's what started the riots, because it was being mobbed by police. And the police were trying to close it down, and the riots ensued. So it began a lot of, from a riot, grew a lot of organizations and well thought out activist activity that did drive real change in the years that followed. So it was the beginning of LGBTQ people all over the world, specifically America to begin with, saying enough is enough. We're going to take some control and change things for ourselves.
Amazing, beautiful. Next question. Let's do it. Chris, tell me, before the next question, tell me in your opinion, what's the best part of living in Wales? What are you most proud of being a Welsh? And there's always a challenge part as well. What that would be?
Okay, so the reason I love living in Wales is because it's got beautiful countryside. So it's a bit mysterious, Wales, because it's kind of forgotten about. So Scotland, Ireland, England are much more famous countries, principalities. Wales is a little bit less famous. It's almost like it sits on the side of England, and if I go on holiday and someone says, "Where are you from?" and I say Wales, quite often they think that's a town outside of London. So but I think that's a good thing. Because I think because it's less famous, there's a kind of a mystery to Wales, and it's I think if you ever walk around the mountains and the countryside, there are such beautiful spaces that are untouched. So it's a bit like, in places, it's a bit like being in Canada when you're in the mountains and the forestries, and but yeah, I love that about Wales.
Amazing.
And so what's not good about living in Wales? That's a hard question. So because I love Wales, but I guess the same answer, in that sometimes Wales has got so many beautiful qualities, but it's easily missed and forgotten because it's not quite as well known. So maybe that's the downside to Wales.
Okay. Next question is, how would you describe a perfect friendship?
Ooh, okay. So I say it changes as you get older. So I would have said 15 years ago, the perfect friendship was having lots in common, spending lots of time together, having fun. Whereas now, to me, the perfect friendship is the friendship that endures time. And even when life gets difficult and you're busy and you're traveling, you might not see each other or speak for 2-3 months, and you might not see each other for over a year. But when you connect and you speak, the connection is as powerful as it ever was. And it's that knowing that no matter what happens to you in your life, even if what's happening is caused by you and you're the villain, whatever situation you're in, that person will be there for you, whatever that is. If you need them, they'll be there. And to me, that's the perfect friendship.
Yes, I think when the chemistry is there, the genuine chemistry is there, you don't go around go, okay, you're gonna be my best friend, she's gonna be my best friend. It doesn't work like that. It's like a relationship. When the chemistry is there, you can be without talking for weeks, a month, but when you talk, it's there, and you know that the person is gonna be there for you. It's a connection.
Yeah, and I think people become your people, don't they? Yeah. I think you find your people, your family outside of your family, and I think that's where your friends are.
Totally agree. Next question, let's do it. Okay, Chris from Wales. Next question is, tell me 3 fun facts about yourself.
Okay, I know all of the dance moves to Madonna's Vogue, and if I've had too much to drink, and my inhibitions have gone away and the DJ puts Vogue on, it doesn't matter where I am, I cannot stop myself from doing the whole performance. So that's probably embarrassing as well as fun. I have
Before you start thinking, I'm gonna put Vogue right now, so I want to see your moves.
I need time and alcohol. So you need to come back in 2 hours, and then maybe. I think the next fun fact about me, I guess, is that this is really hard. I must be really boring, so I haven't got anything that's fun. Or maybe I'm just being a bit hard on myself. I don't know.
I'm sure you're not bored at all. You're not a boring person at all.
I guess that I'm the guy that when you go out for a night out, another alcohol-fueled question. I'm not an alcoholic, I promise. But if I'm the guy that goes out that you cannot trust to go to the bar to get around in. So if I go to the bar with a set of instructions of what people want, then I'm the person who comes back with what they want, a tray of Jaeger bombs, a bottle of Prosecco, and refuses to let people leave at the end of the night because I absolutely have to convince them that they need to stay until at least 3 a.m. until they physically have no energy left in their body. So yet again, fun to some, probably exhausting to others. And I guess the other fun fact is that I don't know whether it's fun really, but I love being outdoors. So I like getting up early, I like getting outdoors. I've got a small dog called Otis that and we bound around the countryside together, and I just love being outdoors, and I'm happy when I'm outdoors, and I'm high energy, and I can talk and walk forever. That's my favorite thing to do. So hopefully some people might find that fun.
For sure. When you are out and about, having your time of your life, dancing Vogue, people stop you by your beautiful eyes? Do you get stopped by?
Well, not often. Has happened once that's happened. But thank you, yes.
So it's the second time then?
Indeed, yes. Thank you very much.
Next question, let's do it. Okay, Chris, next question is, who are you most thankful for and why? Madonna. I'm joking.
She certainly helps me on a night out. Probably my mother. And that's probably a really common answer. And that doesn't surprise me. I know that that's not like that for everyone, but my mother was a very strong character, is a very strong character rather. And she has always been there for me no matter what. And making my mum proud is probably some of the things that have motivated me to be successful in life. So with my my career in terms of finance, but also in my writing, publishing my book. I mean, I love both of my parents. The reason I picked my mother, I guess, is that we have more of a friendship, in as much as we can go out for the day and we can talk, and I just enjoy her company. And she's probably wiser than she thinks she is, but she's, like I'm sure many of millions of other people, she's always been there for me. She's always been my constant, the person in the background that is always there.
What's her name?
Her name is Maureen.
Hello, Miss Maureen. I'm sure you're very proud right now after this beautiful, beautiful answer. I'm sure you are.
I'm sure she will be.
Saying that, Chris, did you always have the support of your parents, of your family in overall when about being gay?
The honest answer is I always had the support of my wider family, and I did have the support of my brothers. But even though it was very, very short-lived, I think my parents found it difficult for a few days. I think there was a few days where it took some adjusting to, but to be honest, there was nothing worse than that. There was just a few very quiet days, and as soon as that was over with, it was absolutely fine. And I've been very fortunate that all the trouble I've had has been from school and kids at school. It's never been family. I've always had their support.
Yeah, I think sometimes all the parents, all of our parents, even though they are very supportive, but sometimes they need, as you say, about some days, or you know what I mean. Sometimes not about the situation itself. It's about worrying about what can happen to us, or how the world is going to, our society is going to take that. How we're going to survive, or how we're going to live, knowing that. You know what I mean? It's sometimes their words as well. It's quite hard for them to, to understand everything, to kind of. To go on board, you know what I mean? It's sometimes some parents take their time, some parents, they don't agree or they don't. But I think at the end of the day, deep inside, they are there for us. Just sometimes they are worrying, or they are worried about what can happen to us.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Ready for another one?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Next question. Chris, before the next question, as you mentioned about, you had a hard time as a child regarding being gay. If you could, when you look back through the journey, through that tough time, if you could erase that period of your life, would you do it or not?
Would I change my life back then?
No, let's say now, you know what I mean? All the information you have, everything, the person you are today, when you look back, you go like, okay, if I had the opportunity, I would have changed that part of my life,
yes,
or had kept.
Yeah, I think if I had the foresight, or if I could go back now, I would own who I was and find that pride earlier instead of fighting it, and instead of trying to prove to people that I wasn't who they said that I was, I would definitely not fight it, and I would accept it. But I recognize that's incredibly tough thing to do for a young teenager who's finding themselves. So if I did appear to my younger self in a vision and said, you need to own who you are quicker and be proud, I probably still wouldn't listen. But in a perfect world, I would have changed that. I would have changed how much I accepted myself later on, and the pride I took in that. I would have done that younger.
I see. Okay. Next question is, oh my God, look, it's funny about the match bomb. Sometimes as you know, I don't select the question. They are all here. And sometimes I have surprise about questions. Now look, talking about changing, if you could change something in yourself or about yourself, what that would be and why?
I'm a Libran, and I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about that or worrying about what star signs mean. But unfortunately, I am the typical weighing scales. So sometimes in my personal life, I have a terrible time making decisions. I'm so indecisive. So indecisive. It's just crazy. And I think I exhaust my friends because things just take so long with me. So I would definitely change that. I'd be super decisive like I am at work, and I'd make decisions much, much faster.
My dad is Libra. Actually, one of my closest friends, he's Libra as well. They share the same birthday, 8th of October. And I know what you mean. It's so funny how star sign, I love it, how stars, about personality, the way, the character of each star sign. I
it's
like
because
it.
we desperately don't want to be wrong, you see. So if we get the decision wrong, then we could be wrong. That can't happen. So the decision has to be so well thought about that the right decision is made.
Next question. Let's do it, please. Next question for you is, what makes you the saddest?
What makes me sad? Lots of things make me sad in the world right now. War makes me sad. Seeing people fleeing their country and everything they know without their family and friends makes me sad. And I guess the fact that the biggest sadness for me is the fact that there are still far too many countries in the world where being yourself is illegal, and there is still torture and murder and hate crimes against people who can't defend themselves because the laws of that country say that they can't be who they want to be, and almost give a green flag to the intolerant to become more intolerant. And that makes me really sad.
Yes, I think that it's not up to us to change or to help somehow. It's, yeah, for sure, it can be said. I agree. Ready for another one?
Yes.
Let's do it. Next question. Chris from Wales. Before the next question, what was putting your book together? Yeah. What was for you the most challenging part to get things all together? And also, as you mentioned, that is a memoir, it's your stories there. Did you have some kind of, let's say, breakdown, but the stories there together? Did you have some moments that was kind of hard for you to write or to put or to share? If you can tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I guess I can answer both those questions with one answer, in that the hardest bits of pulling it together was sometimes having to leave writing parts of the book that were emotional, and then because you've left it and gone on to something else, then you have to get back into that space before you can start writing it again. So sometimes piecing the book together was a challenge, because you kind of jump around a bit in the way that it was written. And I think because of that answers the question, in as much as there were lots of emotional bits that I found very difficult, but on a positive note, I found it really, really healing to be able to visit parts of my past that I'd not thought about, challenges that I hadn't really processed and dealt with. And I processed and dealt with it for the first time in the last few years writing this book. So it was sometimes where it was emotional and difficult, but I think it's an amazing experience, and I would recommend it to anyone. It's a wonderful way of revisiting the challenges of the past and kind of eventually setting them free.
It's so interesting you're saying now that I had a few guests on the show that they wrote books about their lives, their own memories as well. and they said the same. They said the same thing as well. It's healing. Putting it's hard. It's not easy because you get back to your difficult times as a child or some period of your life. But when you see the whole thing together and you went through all these emotions, it's healing. You feel like, okay, I'm so proud that I put that people can read it, they can connect with it as well. I'm sure people reading your book, I'm sure they're gonna find some situations that they went through the same as well. They were suffering. They were kind of, oh my God, they didn't know. They at the time they thought that they was the only person going through that. And just reading and see other people sharing their experience as well that they went through, not just healing for you, but I'm sure for people it's healing for them reading your book as well, I believe. Totally believe.
Yeah, indeed. And there's probably quite a few people who will read it who have also been drunk and danced to Vogue in inappropriate places, I'm sure. I'm sure there'll be a few of them as well.
I'm sure. A lot of people voguing around, for sure. Next question is, what season of the year you feel more connected with and why?
Autumn for sure. I love every season. Every time a season ends, I'm ready for the next season. But autumn, because I was born in the autumn. There's something about the beauty of the changing colours in nature. And there's something restful about autumn, but also there's a bit of renewal, spiritually, I guess. So I love the autumn.
Me too. My birthday in November, and somebody told me once as well that you feel very connected with the season you were born, and for me it works perfectly. I love the autumn as well. Not too cold, not too warm, just middle, crisp, you know what I mean? It's the best season of the year for sure. Right, I have 3 questions left for you, okay?
Okay.
Let's do it. I wish I knew that you like Vogue. I would have prepared that. I wish. Easy question. What's your lucky number and why you consider that?
My lucky number is 33. And it follows me everywhere. It always has my whole life. So I travel with work and I have lost count of the times my hotel room is number 33. I was born in a house with a number 33 that was on a grid line with multiples of 33 in it. I see it random places. Even if at times in my life where I've been puzzled or confused or not sure whether what I'm doing is the right thing, I will see it on the side of a truck or I will see it on a book. So it follows me. It probably doesn't follow me, but I tell myself that it does follow me. But I certainly think that's my lucky number.
It's interesting saying that. When I was a teenager, I went to astrology, and he told me that my lucky number is 3. All connect with 3, like 13, 33, 23, all connected. And when I look back, before he told me, I said to him, I already knew it somehow. It's so funny because I knew it. I don't know, I had this connection with 3, all the numbers. And when I look back, like through my life as well, like I came to Europe on the 13th of March. When I moved to Portugal, I came to London 13th of March as well. And I could tell you like a story of so many 3, 13, that was 33 as well, connected. And it's so interesting how numbers can, as you said, follow us or we follow them, or it's just something there that we cannot explain.
Indeed.
When you publish your book, there was something connected with 3 or not?
No, but I do mention 33 in the book.
Good one. Of course. My God, of course. 2 questions left. That's it. Before the next question, tell me, through those 2 years that the world went upside down regarding the COVID crisis, Chris, for you, what's the positive things that came to your life, to your private life, and also the negative one?
So I probably sound a bit strange for saying this, but I don't miss anything about COVID. I don't, in as much as people being ill, people dying, people losing family members. It was horrible, and I would never ever want to see it back again. But I do miss I was in between moving house when COVID first hit and we all went into isolation. Mm-hmm. And I was due to stay in a log cabin in Hereford in the countryside for a week in between moving out and moving into the next house. And on the Monday, which was my second day in the cabin, we all went into isolation. So I couldn't move in to the new house. So the people who owned the cabin, who I was renting it off, they allowed me to stay. So I stayed there with my partner for nearly 8 weeks in the middle of nowhere. There was just a cabin. There was a log burner, a very small village shop that you had to drive to, and basically just fields and fields and fields. So that initial period of isolation, I think the peace and the tranquility and the fact that there were no pressures because nothing was open, there was nowhere to go. I think it gave hundreds and thousands of people an opportunity to completely relax and let the weights of the world kind of lift off, albeit we were all worried about COVID. But I think there were positives. But I would never want it back. I would never want it to come back. But yeah, I will always miss that part of it.
Great. Next question is, what's something not many people know about you?
Well, until recently, lots of people didn't know that I was a writer. I guess that I do quite my job is quite, well, it's office-based and it's very regulated and it's all numbers and figures and it's fast-paced. So lots of people don't know that before I did that job, I took a year out and I did cabin crew for a year. And so I was up in the skies serving tea and coffee and pushing the trolley and jetting around from here, there and everywhere. So a lot of people don't know that about me. But yeah, other than that, probably, unless they've seen the book, they probably don't know that I'm a writer.
Good one. Ready for the last question?
Yeah, ready.
Let's do the last question, Chris. Before the last question, people watching the interview, would you like to adventure themselves or to write a memoir, to do this beautiful project that you did? What would be your best piece of advice?
To keep going, even when you lose interest, because it takes years to do it properly. And some people start. I've had people approach me and said, "Oh, I did try, but I gave up, or life got busy, or things got in the way." And that happened to me. But sometimes I went 4 months without writing anything. And then I'd go back to it and I persevered and I kept going. And the other thing that I would say, if I can put another cheeky second thing in there, is never ever assume that your story isn't interesting or can't inspire or make a connection to another human being, because I guarantee that it can. So believe in the story that you've got to tell, because we've all got a story to tell.
Wow, beautiful. Totally agree. I totally agree with that, Chris. I have no idea. Last question for you is, what is the happiest day in your life so far, and why you consider that?
Probably in terms of gratitude and feeling blessed, I guess the happiest day in my life was probably finding out that my mum, who'd been diagnosed with cancer, was cancer-free and was going to be okay.
Wow.
That was probably the most impactful day of my life, I guess. That brought the most joy that I can remember. But there's been lots of great days, but that stands out.
Beautiful, beautiful. So then, yet, let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words, and you just tell me one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay? So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Money.
Bank.
One word for family.
Parents.
Love.
Joy.
Life.
Boundless.
How about sex?
Freedom.
Politics.
Tricky.
Religion.
Destructive.
Fear.
Derailer.
Friendship.
Essential.
Desire.
Essential. Say the same word twice.
That's okay. Regret.
Forget.
Success.
See, I'm a Libran. I'm doing it now. I'm weighing up all the answers. I'm rubbish at this. Nice.
Okay. Wish.
Tolerance.
Happiness.
Fulfillment.
One word for Wales.
Beauty.
One word for poet.
Essential.
And the last one now, polish the crown. One word.
Heartfelt.
Beautiful. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your lovely partner for a coffee, and I'm going to ask him, tell me the most beautiful thing about Chris and what's something that he still needs to work on, to improve on. What he would say.
Or just one? The first answer would probably be caring, and the second one would be impatient.
Interesting. Let's play now, Chris, and the magic box, and you can ask me a question.
Good.
Okay, Chris, you can ask me a question now. But before you ask me a question, actually, can you, if you don't mind, to hold your book and share and tell people what they're expecting if they're gonna go and get Polish the Crown? What's the biggest message there? If you can hold it and tell me.
Okay. So this is Polish the Crown. If you were going to buy this book, which you really should do, it will make your life better. I promise. It's a miracle cure of a book. It's not really, but I would say what you're going to expect is honesty and a story of a very normal person who defied the odds in terms of the hand that life dealt them as a kid and the struggles that they had. And it's about overcoming those struggles and becoming a very healthy, happy, successful adult, as much as any of us can be. And it's got beautiful illustrations, and it's funny, and it's sad, and it's sometimes emotional, but it's completely heartfelt, and it's honest, and it was written with love. So that's what I would say.
Let's read Polish the Crown. You can ask me a question now, Chris.
Oh, okay. So if you had the attention of the whole world for 10 seconds, what would you say?
Oh my God, I love the question. I love the question. The first thing that came to my mind is, please, always be yourself. Always. If you can't be yourself, try at least to be almost all the time, 24 hours, try to be yourself. I think this is the main thing that is the basic that you can do. It's be yourself. I know it's not easy sometimes, but try the most you can and you'll see beautiful things happen in your life.
Very good. Agree.
I love it. I love the question. Amazing. Chris, did you enjoy the interview?
Yes, really good. Really, it didn't feel like I was having an interview. It was good.
Thank you so much for taking your time. Thanks so much for being kind and sweet. Thanks so much as well for sharing your project. I think, again, I'm going to say, I think it's really important for people, LGBT community, but that's not everyone, to read other people's experience, you know what I mean? I think that's really healing. And I think it's good for us to hear ourselves as well, and to see that you're not alone out there. All of us, we share a lot of memories that challenge memories and also beautiful memories. So I think it's good for us to always be connecting with others. And I think that's the big part. Thanks so much for taking the time, for being sweet.
No problem.
But before you go, if you can share a positive message or something that you live by.
Okay, I'll share a quote then by Oscar Wilde, and it's, "With freedom, books, flowers and the moon, who could ever not be happy?"
Oh, amazing. Thanks so much for the interview, and I meet you one day.
Yes, very good. Thank you.
Have a good night. Take care, Chris.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.